Well, hey there, everyone, and welcome to Energy Gal Holistic Wellness. I'm Lisa, intuitive healer and spiritual guide. Today, we're going to be pondering this question: is God testing you? You see, I've heard a few people in my life in the past few days say, well, that's just God testing me. I know that's happening, but God is testing me. And it's never settled exactly correctly in me. It's always felt a little like, I don't know how I feel about that. So I've been sitting it with the past couple of days. All I can do is offer you my perspective and ask you to please let me know your perspective. I don't know the answer, but I sure am intrigued about sussing out a conversation around this idea of being tested by God. I want to start out by telling you a story. There is this child, about 4, 5, 6 years old or so. Her parents are having a very difficult time. Dad leaves. Whether she realizes it or not, there's a part of her that thinks there's something wrong with me because Dad left and Mom is now having a really rough time. There must be something wrong with me. I'm defective. Years go by. Mom and Dad continue in their divorce and their difficult relationship. Mom continues to struggle. Dad continues to struggle. Child is now a teenager and has developed this way of thinking, this story that says this: there's something wrong with me, and people leave me because of that. I'm terrified of being rejected again because it hurts really bad. I'm terrified of being abandoned again because it hurts really bad. So I am going to make sure that I am whatever everybody else wants me to be. And that way they won't leave me and they won't abandon me and they won't reject me. So this young girl has grown into a people pleaser who is terrified of being abandoned and rejected. She gets into high school. It is so entrenched as to be part of her personality at this point. She is a people pleaser. She doesn't realize it. Everybody just thinks she's so fun to hang out with. She never makes waves. She's so sweet. She's so kind. She always seems to know what it is you're thinking. In the meantime, this young lady now has no idea that she has sacrificed her own soul. Sounds a little extreme, but she has sacrificed her own personality and her own existence, her own life, so that she never has to experience being abandoned or rejected, because it's freaking terrifying. She has a somatic, a physical, visceral response to being abandoned or rejected. So she'll do whatever she can to not have that happen, even if it means not being her true self, which at this point, she doesn't even know what her true self is because she spent her entire life people pleasing. So if you were to say to her, what do you want? She'd say, well, hold on, let me check the room and I'll figure out what it is that I want. Because what I want is to make sure that everybody around me is happy. Which sounds so sweet and religious and sacrificial, doesn't it? Until it's not born of love. Her behavior is born of absolute terror, fear. Okay, so I've laid the groundwork. This young adult now comes into a time in her life where she starts realizing that her people-pleasing behavior is a symptom of a fear of abandonment and a terror of being rejected. She starts noticing that when she puts a post up on Facebook, if 3 or 4 minutes goes by and nobody notices it, she deletes it. She notices that if, say, she puts something up on YouTube and she gets 9 likes and 1 dislike, she takes it down. She cannot handle any kind of dislike, rejection, abandonment. Her whole body reacts. She starts to come to realize that there's something not quite right about that. She starts to realize it's time to face the shadows. It's time to do some healing around rejection and abandonment and the terror of someone passing you by and leaving you behind. And so she does. She reads lots of books. She gets into some help groups. She keeps herself accountable through journaling and a couple of friends. And she does the work. And it takes years. And so now, my question, is God testing me? Okay, so here's what happens. This young lady, after doing all this work, has now grown into an adult with children. She's done the work. And she knows that she's done the work unto healing because she posts a couple of memes or blogs, and 2 or 3 minutes goes by and nobody notices. As a matter of fact, 2 or 3 days go by and nobody notices. And she leaves the posts up. She checks her YouTube stats, and guess what? 91.4% of people like her, but that leaves almost 9% who give her a thumbs down. And you know what she does? Smiles, wishes those people well, and starts to create another video to post. Without these tests, without these rejections, or without these events happening, like nobody noticing, like getting thumbs down, like not getting invited to the party, she would never know whether she'd actually healed or not. She'd think maybe she did. She did the work. Now she knows. Wow, I have healed. I have healed in this area of people pleasing. It doesn't seem that I am people pleasing as much anymore, which means probably I'm not getting invited to the parties much. I'm not as fun to be around. Actually, the true blues might think, now she's really fun to be around, because it's not just being mirrored, it's the true blue her. She's being honest. And those are the friends you want. She knows that she has been healing because when the world shows her the paradox, she's okay. She doesn't fall right over and crumble and crawl into a ball and say, I'm not coming out from underneath the covers. No, she says, yep, the whole world doesn't have to love me. The whole world doesn't have to receive me and understand me and give me a thumbs up. That's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm rejectable or abandonmentable. That's not even a word. It doesn't mean that I'm unworthy. It just means that somebody out there didn't like what I had to say or didn't care about what I had to say. And I give them permission. Sometimes, this is my perspective, sometimes what I think happens is we think God is testing us. And maybe it's more the universe is saying, let's see what's inside you, because you've been doing some shadow work. Or maybe you haven't been doing some shadow work. And let's see what's actually going on in there. How are you responding or reacting to the situations that are happening? And that's how you will know how you're doing. If you are doing your shadow work and then raised in a bubble and kept to yourself inside, you don't know. How are you responding? Are you responding out of your truth or out of more of your pain? And you know what? No judgment either way. There was a time along my journey, because that story we just talked about was moi. There was a time in my journey, because it was a long ass journey to get through people pleasing, to get through rejection, fear, to get through the fear of abandonment, terror actually. And in the beginning, when I thought, okay, I did it, we're there. No, because I'm telling you, down the post came if 2 minutes went by. Well, maybe 4 minutes went by. And I was just like, I can't. Yeah, and I'd stop and start with the YouTubes. Why? Because I was afraid of being rejected. Had nothing to do with procrastination or laziness. I was just afraid. Put myself out there, I might still be rejected, still be abandoned, still be misunderstood. And then that makes me unworthy. So I tried again a few months later. Well, in this past bit of season, past couple of weeks, I tried it again. And I know that there has been healing layer by layer by layer. When it goes that deep, it can be layers. Because I've gotten some thumbs down. I've gotten some being passed by. And you know what? I'm good. I'm good. It doesn't change how I feel about myself. I don't view it as someone rejecting me or abandoning me. I just feel it like they're not agreeing with what I have to say. And they're letting me know by a thumbs down. And they can. If they want to have a conversation around it, I'd love to. But I'm not here to people please. That's not what I'm here to do. I know that. I'm not here to read the room and then make sure I slip around every crack and crevice so that nobody feels uncomfortable. I know that that's not me. Not with Mars, Uranus, Pluto up in the 11th house with my MC. Oh, hell no. Anybody who speaks astrology goes, oh, and opposing Saturn. So, yeah, we got a whole lot of independent, I'm okay with being all up in your grill kind of personality that I'm just starting to discover now. You know what the world is owed by me? Not people pleasing. You know what the world is owed by me? Authenticity. For me to be me, to discover who that is and be it out frickin' loud. You know what you owe the world? Your authenticity. Find out who you are and be it. Be it without apology, but also be it without a chip on your shoulder. You don't have to be it with flicking off the bird. You don't have to be it with a lot of attitude. Then that's not being. If you have to be it with attitude, you're still not quite there. When you can be it in a place of peace and calm, born of just love for the other person and yourself, okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking some healing. So, you know, when should I say this? When we get into that space of we're being tested, is there a little bit of, if we want to wallow in that, if we want to swim in the deep end of I'm being tested, I'm being tested. Martyrdom, which is born of victimhood mentality. Lack. Stand in your power. It's pitiful or powerful. Be powerful. Be your powerful ass self. If anybody's testing you, it's you tossing a vibe out to the universe saying, I want to know what's in me. I want to know how far I've healed. Show me. And the universe responds by saying, all right, well, I'm going to throw you something that's going to make you a little uncomfortable. Here we go. Wind up. Pitch. Now you get to decide what to do. You're holding the bat. What do you do? A baseball analogy, and I don't even play baseball. I don't even know the first thing about baseball. Oh, such big concepts. I remind you again and again that when we have these conversations, it's less about you taking the words that I'm saying, making sense of them, and then filing them in your Rolodex here up in your mind. When I am talking with you, I would encourage you to realize that it is a transmission, an energetic frequency being downloaded into your energies, into your heart space, for the purpose of you integrating this transmission into your energies. I know that's a lot. I know that's a lot. So what you do is you take those deep breaths. The breath connects you with the body, and that's what we're doing here. We are integrating this into your physical form, because like I say over and over again, we're not going somewhere to the 5D. 5D is coming into us, and we are integrating it. And that's why our bodies are so important and holy, sacred. Drink lots of water. Okay, good quality water. Drink it. Let this come into you, to the depths. And please add to the conversation. I know everything in that you and I are one, and you have a piece of the puzzle, so share. I'm sharing with you, you share with me. It's good. It's really good. Well, I'm going to go have a cup of tea and sit on the couch next to husband and Furbutt and enjoy this beautiful evening. Know how much I love you. And here's a hug.